Um, Let me start by saying that a good example of South-South cooperation is actually the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or SIMEO. It is an intergovernmental
Hello. Can you hear it? Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. Okay, no lights.
Yeah, it's working, sir. So as I said earlier, a good example of South-South cooperation, well, at least one of the good examples, I would say, would be the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, an intergovernmental body that was created way back in 1965. This was during the Vietnam War. This is one of the oldest regional organizations created by the ministers of education in the region. As a regional organization, SIMEO has 11 member countries in Southeast Asia, and this includes Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos PDR, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. SIMEO predates the ASEAN. I'm sure you're more familiar with the ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, by 2 years. The special focus of SIMEO is actually in the areas of education, science, and culture. SIMEO has 26 specialized centers in Southeast Asia. Almost all of the 11 member countries is hosting a SIMEO center, with the exception of Timor-Leste. My organization, SIMEO Innotech, or the regional organization in charge of educational innovation, is one of the 26 SIMEO centers. The center is hosted in the Philippines and serves the education development requirements, particularly of school heads and teachers in Southeast Asia. Let me speak about South-South cooperation from the lens of my center, SIMEO Innotech, and how it is able to realize this through the programs and projects that we do. As an innovation center, SIMEO Innotech has a unique responsibility to incubate, field test, evaluate, and do technology transfer of its successful education programs to the member Ministry of Education as well as partner institutions in Southeast Asia. Our vision is both, I would say, audacious and inspired. The vision is to build a better future for every learner in Southeast Asia. Now, to realize or to approximate at least this vision, we need to have a strong partnerships with within and outside Southeast Asia. Also, we need to be able to, or we should be able to approximate this vision if we focus our limited resources on the development of programs, particularly programs that will help improve on the performance of school heads and teachers in the region. Doing so requires a good appreciation of the development requirements of school heads as well as teachers in 11 member countries in Southeast Asia. Now, you might be asking why the school heads? We feel that it is crucial to include the school heads because development organizations usually skip the school head and go directly and train the teachers without appreciating that the school heads are very important linchpin in the development process. Nothing happens in school without the support of the school heads. Part of our intervention for school head is the creation or the identification of a regional competency framework for them. And we have identified 5 crucial competencies of a successful school heads in Southeast Asia. This includes strategic thinking and innovation, big picture thinking. The second competency is managerial leadership. This is day-to-day management of the school. The third is on instructional leadership, okay, which differentiates a school manager from a bank manager. The fourth is on the area of community engagement and stakeholders engagement, and the last one is on personal excellence. Moving on to teachers, we also were able to craft a regional competency framework, and we refer to it as the Southeast Asian Teacher Competency Framework, or the CTCF. And we were able to get the approval of all the 11 member countries on a set of 4 essential competencies of what makes a successful teacher in Southeast Asia. And this includes, 1, the ability to know what is being taught. I have a mastery of the subject matter. Second is helping my students learn. Third is engaging the community, particularly the parents and the caregivers. And then lastly, becoming a better teacher every day. Yeah. What is important in all this is, and I think what works for us in drafting a regional framework, is the general idea that we are not in any way supplanting or replacing the national standards of all the 11 member countries. We always tell them that the regional framework is there to enhance and to enrich the existing standards for school heads and teachers. That's the reason why we are able to come up with speed. On the average, it took us, I think, 6 to 8 months to be able to get the approval and clearance from the different ministries in adopting these regional frameworks. So I think that's a very good example of what it takes to have this South-South cooperation. Thank you and good afternoon.